All right, let's get straight into it today. We've been spending some serious time with the latest from Tecno.
The Camon 40 Pro 5G and the Camon 40 Premier.
Exactly. And we're not just reading spec sheets here. We've really been using them day in, day out.
Yeah, putting them through their paces.
The idea is to give you a really clear picture of what these phones offer, what stands out, what might matter to you.
Right. Just our hands-on experience, the good and maybe the not so good, trying to be practical about it.
Okay, let's start with the Tecno Camon 40 Pro 5G, specifically the camera, because honestly, this was a bit of a surprise.
It really was. I mean, our testing showed it performs incredibly well. Globally ranked pretty high, 44th, and #1 in the advanced tier it's in.
That's impressive. So what makes it so good in, normal photo taking?
Well, generally, photos come out really well exposed. The dynamic range is quite extended, which is great. You get detail in bright skies and dark shadows.
Yeah.
And video exposure is pleasant, too. Skin tones also looked good, quite natural across different people we shot.
And detail. Did it hold up?
Yeah, detail preservation was good, both in photos and videos. It held on to a lot of texture.
Nice. And for people who like that blurry background effect, the bokeh.
The bokeh mode works well. Pretty good subject separation, nice blur quality. And interestingly, the digital zoom.
Ah, yes, the zoom. No dedicated telephoto lens on this one, right?
Right, but up to about 3x, the digital zoom actually keeps a surprising amount of detail. It holds up pretty well.
Okay, but it can't be all perfect. Were there downsides?
Yeah, of course. We did see some visible noise in photos, especially when the light dropped.
Low light noise, yeah, common issue.
And sometimes the phone felt, a little slow to actually capture the photo after pressing the button.
Laggy shutter.
A touch,
Yeah.
occasionally. And we sometimes saw minor artifacts like ghosting or weird merging issues. In video, again, noise can pop up indoors or in low light. And sometimes in videos with lots of movement, the sharpness wasn't always consistent. Minor focus hunting or exposure shifts, too, sometimes.
Right, okay. So, helps to compare it. How does this Pro 5G camera stack up against, say, some popular rivals?
Good question. In bright light, we actually found it did better than the Samsung Galaxy A55. Better dynamic range and a nicer balance between keeping detail and reducing noise.
Interesting.
And when it gets dark, the Camon 40 Pro 5G often pulled ahead of rivals. Better exposure, nicer color, wider dynamic range, more detail captured. It handles bright highlights really well, too, keeping detail where others might blow out.
And colors generally, skin tones.
Yeah, pretty natural colors across the board, different lighting, different skin tones. That was a definite plus.
What about video capabilities on the Pro 5G?
It's competitive for its price, definitely. We tested it in 4K at 30 frames per second.
Okay.
While there's that noise issue and low light and maybe stabilization could be a tad better, the overall video quality, pretty strong for the money.
And just to confirm on the zoom, even without that dedicated telephoto lens.
Yeah, the digital zoom is surprisingly decent. It holds its own against the Galaxy A55 and even, say, the Google Pixel 8a, which often get praised for their computational zoom.
So the processing is doing some heavy lifting there.
Seems like it. It works pretty well.
And there was some sort of recognition for this phone's camera, right, before we moved to the Premier.
Ah, yeah, the DxO Mark Smart Choice label. It was actually the first phone to get that specific label.
What does that signify, basically?
It just highlights that for its price bracket, the camera performance is exceptional. Really underscores the value you're getting if photography is a big priority for you.
Okay, good context. Let's shift gears then. The Tecno Camon 40 Premier. What were your first impressions, just taking it out of the box?
The unboxing was nice. Tecno still gives you the essentials. You get the charging brick, the cable.
Which isn't always a given these days.
Exactly. And you get a protective case. It's plastic, but actually quite well designed. Good texture, looks nice, matches the phone, so points to Tecno for including that stuff.
Agreed. What about the phone itself? The design, the feel?
We had both colors, the Galaxy Black and the Emerald Lake Green. Both have this smooth back finish. The Galaxy Black is, interestingly, more like a dark gray.
Okay.
And you can't miss the camera module. It's large, circular, right in the middle. It's got this little orange accent line, the flash, and even a little light that comes on when you're recording video.
A recording indicator. That's kind of neat.
Yeah. And the finish is matte, which is great for resisting fingerprints.
How did it feel, build-wise? In the hand?
This is maybe one area to note. The back is plastic.
Right.
And while that's fine, maybe keeps it lighter, it does feel, maybe a little less premium than you might expect at this sort of price point compared to glass or metal.
Does the included case help?
It definitely helps the feel in the hand, yeah. Gives it a bit more substance.
Yeah.
The frame is plastic too, by the way.
Okay. What about buttons, ports, other physical bits?
You've got an under-display fingerprint sensor, optical type. Seems responsive enough. There's an IR blaster on top, which is handy.
For controlling TVs and things.
Yep. Stereo speakers, tuned by Dolby Atmos, sound pretty decent. Dual nano SIM slots. But no micro SD card expansion.
Okay. And no headphone jack either, I assume.
Correct, no headphone jack. Right side has power and volume. And the left side has this interesting orange button. Tecno calls it the one-tap button.
Customizable.
Yeah. By default, a double press does flash snap a camera mode.
Yeah.
A long press brings up their voice assistant, Ella. But you can change what the double press does, like launch an app or toggle the flashlight. Kind of neat.
Now, durability. This one seemed quite high-spaced.
Absolutely. It's got IP68 and IP69 ratings.
IP69. What does that add?
It means it can handle high-pressure, high-temperature water jets, plus the usual IP68 stuff, like being submersible up to 2 meters for 30 minutes here. That's really robust, actually better than some flagships.
Wow, okay. Good peace of mind there. Let's talk display on the Premiere. What are we looking at?
It's a nice one. 6.67-inch LTPO AMOLED. Can display 1 billion colors, runs up to 144 hertz refresh rate.
Which is very smooth. And LTPO means it's variable.
Exactly. It can adjust dynamically to save power. It supports HDR, gets pretty bright, 1600 nits peak brightness stated, and it's covered in Gorilla Glass 7i.
Resolution.
It's 1260 by 2800 pixels, so sharper than full HD plus A, often called 1.5K. Looks really crisp. Great for videos, movies, general use.
Any small niggles with the screen?
Only a very minor thing. The bezels aren't perfectly symmetrical all around. The bottom one might be slightly thicker, but honestly, you probably wouldn't notice unless you were really looking for it.
Fair enough. Now, cameras on the Premiere. We know the Pro is good. What's the setup here? All 50 megapixels, is that right?
That's the headline feature, yeah. A quad camera system in total, 3 on the back, the main wide, an ultra wide, and a 3x periscope telephoto, and then the front selfie camera. All of them use 50 megapixel sensors.
That's quite something. How is the experience using them?
Generally really positive. That 3x periscope lens was a favorite. Gets you genuinely good, detailed shots from further away. The main camera is solid. Selfie camera performs well too. The ultra-wide is decent, though maybe a little soft at the very edges sometimes, which isn't uncommon.
And low light, given the Pro was good.
Impressive here, too. Good detail, holds on to color well, nice saturation even when it gets dark. It feels like a very versatile system.
So you feel pretty confident just picking any of the 4 cameras depending on the shot?
Pretty much, yeah. That versatility is a big plus. One caveat, though. The camera app's user interface.
What about it?
It could feel a bit slow or, like, jittery sometimes, especially when switching between the lenses or zooming quickly.
Hopefully something they can fix with software.
You'd hope so. It felt more like a software optimization thing than a hardware limit.
You mentioned flash snap with that orange button. What is that exactly?
It's a specific camera mode designed to help you capture clearer photos of things that are moving fast. Think pets running around or kids playing sports. It tries to freeze the action better.
Okay, useful. And video recording on the Premiere.
Also quite capable. All 4 lenses, front and back, can shoot 4K video at 30 frames per second, and they all have electronic stabilization.
That's great parity across the lenses.
Yeah.
Any limitations?
One main one, you can't switch between the lenses while you're actually recording. You have to stop, switch, and start again.
Okay. That's a bit restrictive.
A little bit. Also, the stabilization on the 3x telephoto, while present, isn't the absolute strongest. For really steady, zoomed-in video, you'd probably still want a tripod.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about what's driving this phone. Performance. What chip is it using?
It's got the MediaTek Dimensity 8350. It's a 4-nanometer chip, very efficient. And for this price range, in the regions it's sold, it's considered pretty much top tier.
And how does that translate in real-world use? Fast? Smooth?
Very much so. Apps open quickly, multitasking feels fluid. Gaming was really good too, handles demanding games at high graphics and frame rates quite comfortably.
Does it get hot?
It manages heat well. Thanks to that efficient chip, it didn't seem to overheat significantly even during longer gaming sessions.
Good to hear. Memory and storage.
It comes with 12 GBs of RAM, which is plenty for pretty much anything you'd throw at it. Storage is 256 GB.
Only 256 GB. Is that maybe a bit low for a Premiere model, especially with no SD card slot?
It could be for some users, yeah. If you shoot a lot of 4K video or hoard media, 256 GB can fill up. It is fast storage, though UFS 4.x, so accessing that data is quick.
Right. AI is everywhere now. What's Tecno doing on the Premiere?
Quite a lot, actually. They bundle it all under Tecno AI, either in the settings or on that sort of zero screen you swipe to from the home screen.
Easy to find then.
Yeah, pretty accessible. You get things like an object eraser in Photos, circle to search like on some other phones, but also stuff like a math problem solver using the camera, photo translation, summaries for phone calls, and AI noise reduction for calls.
A good range of features. And the underlying software, Android version, Skin.
It ships with Android 15, which is great, nice and current. It has Tecno CTIO S15 Skin on top.
Any bloatware? Pre-installed apps?
There are some, yes, as usual with many brands. But the good news is most of them seem to be uninstallable, which is always welcome.
And software updates. How long will Tecno support it?
They've committed to 3 major Android version updates. So Android 16, 17, 18, that's pretty decent support for this category.
It's battery life. Always crucial. How big is the battery and how does it hold up?
It's got a 5100 milliamp battery. In our experience, it comfortably lasted a full day of normal use.
Any specific test numbers, like screen on time?
We got around 9 hours of continuous video streaming. For heavy gaming, it was closer to 6 hours. Pretty solid result.
And charging, how fast does it juice up?
It supports 70W wired charging, and the charger's in the box. It's really quick. 0 to 100% took us about 45 minutes.
That's fast. Any wireless charging?
Oh.
Or eSIM?
No wireless charging mentioned or supported, it seems. No mention of eSIM either, just the dual physical nano SIM slots.
Got it. So let's bring it together. The Camon 40 Premier, how does it stack up on value considering its price?
It's priced around the $450 mark, give or take, depending on region. That puts it squarely in the mid-range.
How does it compare to, say, the competition, like that Samsung A56 you mentioned?
Well, it's generally a bit pricier than the closest Galaxy A series equivalent, but you are arguably getting more features and better performance here, which makes sense given the price difference.
Okay. What about compared to last year's Tecno, the Camon 30 Premier?
Interesting comparison. There are actually a couple of areas where the new 40 Premier seems like a slight, well, not exactly downgrade, but a change. The build quality, the 30 Premier used aluminum and vegan leather options. This one is plastic.
That's a noticeable difference in feel.
And storage. The 30 Premier had a 512 GB option. This 40 Premier seems to top out at 256 GB. So while the 40 Premier is maybe a slight upgrade overall in performance and some camera aspects, if you own a 30 Premier,
you might not need to rush out and upgrade.
Exactly. It might not be a huge leap forward for everyone.
So overall assessment of the Premier then?
It's a good phone. Definitely more pros than cons for its price point. The cameras are versatile, performance is strong. It's a compelling package.
Okay, so let's try and summarize this. We've looked closely at both the Tecno Camon 40 Pro 5G and this Camon 40 Premier. The Pro 5G really impresses with that camera, especially for the price. Exceptional value there, as highlighted by that DxO Mark label.
Yeah, the camera is the star on the Pro.
Whereas the Premier offers, like, a more rounded package. Strong performance, those versatile 50MP cameras all around, super fast charging.
But with maybe those slight compromises on the build materials and the storage capacity for some users?
Exactly. So 2 different approaches from Tecno, really.
Definitely. Depends on what you prioritize.
Which leads us to a final thought for you, the listener. Considering these 2 phones, the Pro 5G focusing heavily on delivering outstanding camera value, and the Premier aiming for a broader set of pretty high-end features, but maybe cutting a couple of corners elsewhere. Which philosophy resonates more with you right now? What are your biggest priorities when you look for a new phone in today's market?
It's a really interesting question, isn't it? Where do you place the most importance?